When I look through the comments on my videos, desperately looking for any compliments, I've noticed that a lot of you seem to either want to move to Sweden soon or are studying Swedish at the moment. And I don't know why I haven't thought of this before, but in this video I thought I would teach you Swedish. Ha! You'll get everything, full frontal Swedish in this video. We'll go through some simple linguistic and cultural points, the basics of Swedish grammar, as well as some vocabulary and useful phrases. Yes. We will even go through some Swedish swear words. If you make it that far into the video. You know, online tutors, language courses and textbooks, you don't need any of that shit. This video will take you all the way from the basics of Swedish all the way up to, you know, proper Swedish as used by the Swedish king himself. You know, if you know the Swedish king, you know that that is not a very high bar to set for yourself, but still. Here we go. Or as we say here in Sweden, let's go, liksom. Okay, some basic points to get us started. Swedish is a Germanic language. I don't know why I'm laughing. So it's very closely related to German and English in many ways. This makes translating between Swedish and English very easy because you can bara jump between the two språken without too much of a problem, you know, as I think I've mentioned tidigare. Swedish is spoken by people in Sweden and by about 4 other people in other countries, so it's a very international language. Some people say they find Swedish attractive. Now, I don't believe those people. I don't think there is a quicker way to get me, you know, utterly flaccid than to say, I don't know, tranbärssylt, Försäkringskassan. Du ska vi knulla eller? Some cultural things worth noting is that, for instance, we don't use any titles for people of rank in Sweden. We think of ourselves as very egalitarian here. We all shit in the same toilets. There's only one in the whole of Sweden. I think it's in the King's Palace. Of course, there's a queue system to use it based on your personnummer and when you're born and stuff. I last took a shit in 2017. Okay, so so we don't use any fancy words for people we want to show respect to. We solved this by not showing respect to anyone in Sweden. We say du instead of, you know, Mr. or Mrs. or something. It's kind of nice, I think. I like this about Sweden. Du means just you. Another cultural point worth noting is that it's considered a little bit impolite in Sweden to talk too much. Just say whatever it is you want to say and then shut the fuck up, you know. Swedes are notoriously bad at chit-chat and small talk. That's all you need to know to get you started, I think, so let's dive into some grammar. Whoa. Or as we say here in Sweden, So Swedish is an SVO language, socialist and very oppressive. It also stands for subject, verb, object, as opposed to, let's say, Japanese, which is an SOV language, so subject, object, verb. This kind of talk, by the way, is how I get the ladies, you know. So you say, jag äter Håkan, whereas in Japanese you'd say, watashi wa Håkan o tabemasu. So the verb comes at the end in Japanese, but in the middle of the sentence in Swedish. The first verb worth knowing, by the way, I'd say is är, which means to be. So is, are, or am in English. So Håkan är god. Håkan is delicious. Svenska är sexigt. Jag är värdelös, and so on. With this very simple structure you can have some fun as well if you just change the verb a little bit. So, jag är en utter. Jag har blivit en utter. I have become an otter. Vill du vara min utter? Hur mår min mamma? Vem ligger bakom mordet på Olof Palme egentligen? Oj. Spilling green tea everywhere. Jag spillde grönt te överallt. Oh yeah, let's do some past tense as well. Past tense of är is var. So Håkan var god. Håkan was delicious. Din mamma var jättetrevlig. Håkan slukade Helena. Vill du vara min kompis? That's not past tense. As you can say a bunch of stuff with this very basic structure as long as you have the vocabulary. So speaking of which, now, I've already made a video about 10 useful phrases in Swedish, so you should all go check that out if you haven't already. But here are some more phrases that you would do well to know if you want to show off a bit when you visit Sweden, or if you just want to follow along in that Swedish drama you're watching or whatever. So, for instance, when you arrive in Sweden, you need to pass through customs. So you give your passport to the dashing Swedish customs person and you say, hej, jag skulle vilja komma in i landet, tack. Vill du titta på mitt pass? Jag har inget kokain i mitt anus. Vill du titta på mitt anus? Now that should get you through customs, and once you've removed the rectal bags, you might want to get yourself a coffee. So you go to a shop to get one. When you move abroad anywhere, this is probably the conversation that you will this is probably the conversation that you'll use the most in any country you move to. The shop exchange. In English, it's not too complicated. You just say, hello, how are you doing? Good, how are you doing? Oh, you know, I can't complain. The hemorrhoids are acting up again. Apparently there is such a thing as too much fisting, you know how it is. But can I have this banana please, by the way? You know, you can sort of freestyle it a bit. But in Swedish, however, there is a very set sort of structure to this exchange. It goes like this. Hej, hej, hej. Den här tack. Det blir 20 kronor. Vill du ha kvittot? Nej, det är bra tack. Varför inte? För jag vill ha dig liksom. Wow. And then we make out, you know. That's it. Now, if any of the participants fuck this up in any way, the whole thing can fall apart very quickly. For instance, this actually happened to me last Friday. I went to the shop to buy something and I paid for it. The cashier said, ha en trevlig helg, to which I automatically responded, det är bra tack. Swedes are not very good at improvising socially. Me included, apparently. Alright, you made it into the country, you've bought your coffee, the drugs are safely stashed away, and you haven't made an ass of yourself so far. Yay. Just say hey and tack a lot, and you'll be fine. Actually, if you say tack, you will sound way friendlier than most Swedes. Another useful phrase people use all the time is varsågod, which means you're welcome. But if you give something to someone and you say varsågod, this means here you go. When you've done something for someone and someone says tack to you, you can say varsågod. But it's probably more common to say det är lugnt, or ingen fara, det är lungan. Coola bananas. Yeah. Another one you'll hear all the time is when Swedish people can't hear you, they will say vad sa du? What did you say? Although it's usually shortened to vad sa du? Or just sa du? I mean, you can just saying va is okay too. It might sound a bit too confrontational though. Va means what? You can pretty much say whatever though with the right intonation. I say that, you know. Now finally we've come to the most exciting and probably the most useful section of this lesson, Swedish swear words. Now of course you should make sure to have at least a sort of basic grasp of conversational Swedish before you start mixing in swear words into your vocabulary. Or just fuck it and use them because they're fun. There's plenty to choose from depending on the situation. Snoppen, snoppar, kuken, pippa, knull, pojke. Bumbigos Berit. The most common ones you hear all the time are fan, which means Satan. Jävlar or jävla also means Satan or like devilish. So jävlar is a noun, right? And jävla is the adjective. It's usually combined with other words like jävla skit. Jävla skit means devilish shit, used in the same way as English bloody hell, kind of. Helvete, which means hell, is also very common. Again, commonly combined with helvetes jävla skit. So the devilish shit from hell. When you spell it out in English, it sounds really cool. Skit is shit, by the way. If you fuck something up in Sweden, you usually say skit också, which means shit as well. Också means also or as well, so shit as well. I don't know why we say that really. We also say fan också, Satan as well. I don't know, it really doesn't make any sense. What the fuck do we mean by that? Now I find this really interesting, but as you might have noticed, most of these are religious. Fan, jävlar, helvete, Berit. All of these are related to Christianity. It's kind of interesting if you compare this to English, where most commonly used swear words are related to bodily functions of different kinds, you know, shit, piss, fuck, bloody, etc. Something both languages have in common is that the worst and strongest swear words are related to female anatomy. Both fitta and cunt mean the same thing, and I think are the strongest swear words in both languages, no? At least up there, you know. Which is fucked up because there's absolutely nothing wrong with cunts. This is not where I imagined this video would end up, but here we are. So that's it, now that you've seen this video. Det är väl okej att jag byter till svenska från och med nu liksom, i alla videor framöver. Haha. So thank you very much for watching. Please do share this video with anyone you think might be interested in watching it, who's learning Swedish or something. Recently I've been a bit busy with personal stuff. I'm finally having my tail removed. But I have a bunch of video ideas, so there will be more videos coming, usually. As usual. And thanks to everyone who came to the live stream. I did a live stream about a couple of weeks ago and a bunch of you showed up, and we had a lovely time. At least I did. Maybe some of you who watched found it dreadful, but sorry about that in that case. And I will do another one. Okay, now I'm gonna go wax my